What a scare for people who shop at the Whole Foods in Midtown. 2 people, including a worker at the store, have contracted hepatitis A. Tonight, our Carolyn Clifford spoke to an emergency room doctor from Providence Hospital about whether the community should be concerned and how easy it is to contract hepatitis A.
I guess it'd be easy to contract it if you came in contact with the virus and didn't have antibodies. But most of us in this country have antibodies. So in a sense, if you're not in an area where it's very common and you yourself are immunocompetent, you should do well and shouldn't have to worry. It's really only when you're exposed to it by the fecal-oral route.
So a lot of people are worried because, of course, at this Whole Foods in Detroit, 2 people ended up getting sick, one worker and then another person who is exposed to that worker. So if people are sitting at home right now worried that they ate at the Whole Foods, what should they be concerned about? What symptoms should they look out for?
Well, hepatitis A, when it starts out, it has to sort of incubate in your body for a couple of weeks. So after their exposure, they really won't feel anything. And during that 2-week interval or so, they should be just monitoring themselves, maybe speak to a doctor. There are ways you can be evaluated for it, and if necessary, even prophylactically treated for it.
So if you're concerned because you may have eaten there between October 6th and October 12th, you can get a vaccine, right? Or you can get a shot to make sure you don't end up with hepatitis A?
That's absolutely true. And actually, the symptoms you were interested in are things like fever, body aches, sort of yellowing of the eyes or skin, jaundice, dark urine, generalized feeling of unwell. Ironically, in children, it's a relatively mild disease. They might not have any symptoms at all. Adults may feel sort of like an exaggerated flu type of set of symptoms.
And what about if you're elderly, or what about if your immune system is lower?
Those people should probably be especially vigilant, those that are, somehow immunocompromised. But it turns out that, fortunately, it's not a very common disease in this country because we do tend to have good hygiene, and our water systems are really well maintained. Our systems are chlorinated, so the chlorine is used to, completely eliminate the virus, and if it gets into our water. It's much more common, frankly, in areas where people travel around the world where they don't have excellent hygiene. They have a lot of population with the disease, and they don't, unfortunately, have the same water treatment that we enjoy.
So when we think about a worker at Whole Foods ending up with hepatitis A, they got it from somewhere else and then came into the store, possibly?
That's possible. It's hard to know. I don't know the medical history of the individual involved. It may have really nothing to do with them having been in Whole Foods, but the fact that one worker contracted the disease and at least one patron, came down with hepatitis A, it does make you suspicious that those two may be linked. And I think the health department is expressing an abundance of good common sense caution and warning those that may have eaten at prepared foods at Whole Foods to seek a medical evaluation. It's not an emergency. If you're feeling well, you can follow up with your doctor or any of the public health clinics that we offer through the city. They can screen you. They can offer the vaccine. We're lucky in this country that we have access to a very effective vaccine and have had that since 1995.
Okay, anything else that we need to mention to our viewers tonight before we let you go?
Thank you for giving me the chance to speak about it. Just to tell people not to panic and to contact their doctor if they're one of those that did eat prepared foods at Whole Foods.
All right, wonderful. Thank you so much again, Dr. McGraw, for your time tonight.
Thank you and good evening.
The healthcare